Hi guys, this is Andy from Lismotech UK. Today we're giving an unboxing and overview for the DeepCool GamerStorm Lucifer CPU cooler. So let's get started. Okay, so as you can see guys, we've not really got much of a box to sort of look at with this particular CPU cooler from DeepCool. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull the individual sections out of the actual main box that this has been shipped to us in, and then we can actually have a look at the actual cooler itself. Okay, so the first box that we're going to look into is this one here. I'll try and get this out. Now I assume that if you were to purchase this via the Amazon link down below, that you will get a better box than the one that I've got here, because obviously it's not a retail box. Inside here we have got a round 120mm DeepCool fan. Let's pull the protective bit of plastic off the front of that. As you can see right in the middle, it is quite nice and shiny, looks quite nice indeed, to be fair. Quite like the shade of green that is used on the Lucifer. Coming from this, we have got black cables running from the actual motor going into a braided cable, which is quite a long cable to be fair, and that goes into a 4-pin connector. So we'll just pop that down over there a moment. Now on this box here, I assume that we're going to get all the accessories, the back plates and screws. So let's have a look and see what we have. Okay, that appears to be it for that box. We've also got the user manual, which is going to tell you how to go about installing the Lucifer into your system. Looks to be quite well laid out with various different pictures and guides, etc. We have got a LGA 775, what appears to be like some form of rubber mount here. I'm not quite sure as to where that goes or what that actually does. Obviously there aren't very many 775 systems on the market these days, but we do have some form of rubber mount. I'm not quite sure as to what that does. Inside here we have got your AMD brackets, and it mentions the support FM1, AM3+, AM3, AM2 and AM2+. So obviously you've got your AMD brackets in there. In this one here we have got other accessories. So inside here you can see that we've got a couple of fan clips as well as some thermal paste. We'll get them out in a short while. We have got your screws for your LGA 2011 connection. I'll get all of these out in a moment. And also we have got your bracket, your dual bracket AMD and Intel, as well as also your various different Intel connections and accessories. So I'm just going to pop that all to one side a moment while we get the actual main part of the show out. Not really sure how this comes out, so you will just have to bear with me. Okay, so I've now got the heatsink out of the actual box. What first thing that you're going to notice is that this has got a very, very unusual design to the actual heatsink itself. We've also got the logo up at the top for the GamerStorm branding. Bringing this in a bit closer, hopefully you can see this sort of diamond-shaped cutouts, which I assume they believe will also help heat go up through. I assume that these are going to be going all the way through by the looks of things according to the bottom, so it's their design, that's what they feel is going to work. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heat pipes that are looking to be around about 6mm in thickness. And also you've got the copper plate in behind there, which I'm not going to remove at the moment because we are going to be doing testing on this, and also want it to keep it nice and clean. Installation bracket will go in along the side there, which I'll show you in a moment. But the first thing to really notice is the fact that it is such an unusual design. Quite a large heatsink as well, to be fair. I'm not quite sure as to what way the actual fan goes onto this. I assume that we're probably going to be looking around about there, or potentially we could even look at doing it on that side as well, I assume. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give the actual manual a bit of a read so that I know what's what with this particular cooler, and I'll be back to you in a moment. Okay, so first thing to mention is that the actual backplate itself is of a metal construction rather than a plastic construction. As you can see, we've got the sort of usual suspect with regards to the pins being pushed through that you can adjust. These are actually held in by rubber retaining clips rather than the plastic ones that are probably more commonly used. Now I've just dropped a bit of plastic. So once you've connected that through to your motherboard, you then insert these risers onto the inside, like so. After you've done that, you then need, obviously I'm going to do the Intel setup on this. Okay, so obviously you then put the particular bracket, depending on what socket that you're going for, on there, like so. So that will obviously, imagine the motherboard there and CPU in the middle. Now once you've done that, the next thing that you need to do is to grab your 4 nuts on top and basically screw these down. So I'm just going to roughly do this a moment. Obviously when it comes to testing the actual cooler itself, I will give you hopefully a bit of a better demonstration with regards to the installation of the DeepCool Lucifer. So that goes on top like so. Now the actual cooler will then sit that way on top of the actual CPU like so. But before then, what you need to do, you need to put this sort of restraining piece of metal on the inside, as you can hopefully see. I'll bring that into view maybe. Let me try and get you a better angle here. So obviously, hopefully you can see that you've got a couple of little notches on the inside there. What you need to do is line the actual bracket over this so it sort of clicks into place like so. Once you've done that, you then place that on top, and then using a screwdriver you then basically screw the actual brackets down into place. And obviously, as you can see, it's sitting really quite low at the moment. If I can just tip that up, it's not very secure, but essentially that's how it would actually go. So once you've got that installed, the default location for the fan is to go on this front face. Just bring you up, so the default location is to go on there. Now one thing that I do want to point out, which is something that I love to see, is the fact that they've actually included four fan clips, 2 for the one included and 2 for additional fans. So this particular cooler can handle 120 or 140mm fans, which is really nice to see. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to show you how to connect the actual fan up. Just bear with me, this is always really fiddly and one of the parts that I really don't like doing. But let's have a little go a minute. Okay, so we've got one of the retaining clips on, and we'll just try and connect the other one up, see if it will go as easily. And essentially that's the second one connecting up. So as you can see, I'm actually going to just take this off because it's a lot easier to show you guys. As you can see, I mean, it's not perfectly central in any way, shape or form, but it looks really nice indeed. Really quite like the green effect on the actual cooler. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give the actual fan a bit of a power up so we can have a look and a listen to see what the fan's like. Okay, so I've now got the Lucifer connected up to the power supply, so I'm just going to give this a switch on. And we can see the fan spinning around there. Looks really nice indeed. I really do love the shade of green on the actual fan itself. Now with regards to the sort of feel of air, there's a lot of air sort of coming not just out through the back but also through the actual sides as well. There's very little noise coming from the actual fan itself, which is quite good. There's quite a lot of air being moved by this particular fan. It's not the most powerful fan that I've come across, but it certainly looks the part, and essentially obviously it's going to do the job at the end of the day. So I'm now going to go and give you a little bit more technical information about the Lucifer. Okay, so on to a little bit more information about the Lucifer, as well as my personal thoughts about the actual cooler itself. Now, one really good feature about the cooler is that it has also been designed to run passively without a fan. So if you're craving that large heatsink with no noise at all, this is definitely an option for you. Of course, you are also able to run this in a push-pull configuration as well, so it's a very versatile cooler with 3 different modes. The 6 copper heat pipes are specially placed asymmetrically to avoid any interference with any memory modules, and the heat pipes are firmly soldered into the copper base, which will then enhance the heat conductively from the processor to the heatsink. For the quickest heat transfer, the copper base has also been CNC machined into a flat surface with a little convex design, so it's very much designed really to be run without a fan. The massive aluminium fins are designed as a pair of wings, and this provides enough heat dissipation area when used in fanless mode. The overall build quality of the Lucifer, I must admit, is absolutely fantastic. I haven't been able to fault it in any way, shape or form. The sort of quite aggressive looking fins and the wings and the overall design of the actual heatsink, in my opinion, looks really good. Really love the aesthetic looks of the actual cooler. Biggest thing for me is the fan. I really do like the deep green shade of the actual fan blades. I think it makes the actual cooler look really cool indeed, and I'm looking forward to testing the cooler to see how well it does perform. So I hope you liked the overview for the Lucifer from DeepCool. Please leave a comment down below, let me know what you think about the actual cooler, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. We hoped you liked our video review. If you did, then please leave a like, as well as any comments or questions you may have down below. Full details and specifications on this item can be found at our website, nismotech.com, along with all the links for purchasing if you wish. Also on our site you'll find our latest reviews and current giveaways, plus a lot more. We look forward to seeing you in our next review.